So I want to start off this video by saying that I was right on a lot of stuff that was said on Nightwave. And I've already watched this multiple times today because I watched it when I got up this morning. I watched it multiple times already. But today was the day that we finally got the Switch 2 reveal. Officially from Nintendo. No longer it's leaks, no longer it's rumors or other things. It's just out. So I figured I probably should record at least a breakdown. Do we want to call it a breakdown of the Switch 2 reveal and go over my excitement, concerns, and what could be a good system or a bad system, and basically any other information that we know. So probably let's get into it. I will reduce the volume as necessary. But here we go. Already the bright red Nintendo logo. And I do think having the Switch right here already is like the proper choice, because it shows we are talking about the original Switch, but we're also talking about what is the successor to the Switch. It is a new system, but it is a new system that is built off of the basis of the original system. And already, bigger boy. Oh, it is a much bigger boy. Now, I want to point out that is a really large bezel. Actually, where's my original Switch? Obviously, you all can't see it, but actually, we could just do this. So, this is the bezel for the original Switch. Like, this is the Gen 1 model. This is not the OLED. This is just the original Switch. That's the bezel. And that's actually pretty big. Now, admittedly, the bezel is not as big as the original Switch, especially with the top and the bottom, but on the sides, it is apparently noticeable. I'm wondering if Nintendo is going to take the route of like the Steam Deck, where like there is a noticeable bezel on the Steam Deck, but not like it's actually more obvious that it's there and more kind of like an extension of the screen instead of just for the sake of bezel. I don't know. I thought this part was interesting where we kind of go over like the changing everything. This is nice. So there is, in fact, 2 USB-C ports. I think that is phenomenal. The fact that the Switch only had 1, which was just the charging one, was a shame. That was almost a travesty. Now, admittedly, I mentioned the Steam Deck. The Steam Deck also only has 1. But in the Steam Deck's defense, the one that it has is on top. And I think that is at least more accessible for a typical user base. Unlike the Switch, where it was only on the bottom. So if you wanted to put in, say, a wireless receiver for your headphones or your earbuds, great. But having the option of having the headphone jack still is nice. Having a USB-C port on the bottom for charging and on the top for user usage is a great quality of life change, and I'm glad they're doing it. I really like the stand. The kickstand is a massive improvement from the original. The original Switch kickstand is that was a choice by Nintendo. I don't know why they did that. But even seeing it like fold more like this, real nice, because it shows that there's a lot more flexibility with that kickstand instead of just like what the Switch One did. I think the OLED Switch had a much improved kickstand, but this one is in fact better all around. It feels more like you can fix it based on like how you want to look at it. Like, are you looking down at your desk, or are you looking down somewhere, or do you want to fix that, try and make it more easier for your eyes? That's great. I think that is a great way to do accessibility. The Joy-Cons are much bigger. Thank you. I like the Joy-Cons, but they're small enough to the point where I don't use them. Do I think I'll be using these? Probably more than I use the original ones, but not as much. I think the last time I used the Joy-Cons, like through an entire game, was Skyward Sword. Because I don't know why, but I enjoyed the motion control part of Skyward Sword for the Switch more than I enjoyed playing with just a controller. I mean, that's fine with me. So, this is something I kind of want to go over. Because I've actually seen no one discuss this. I do like the coloring here around the stick, but I almost wonder if that is there as an indication of like we are covering the joint essentially. So it's harder for dust to get in there. I think that is definitely a possibility. It could just be a design aesthetic, and I'm an idiot, and that was already there. But who knows? So these are much bigger than the original Switch, and I greatly appreciate Nintendo doing this. It will make it far more user-friendly. Especially, and I'm going to grab one of my Joy-Cons. Actually, I'm going to just grab my whole Switch, because it's right here. And I'm going to be able to just pull out a Joy-Con, or both Joy-Cons, and just feel that. I know you all can't see me do that, but, like, I can, and there definitely is a level of, this is too small. My hands already are pretty small. And even I think this is too small for user usage, for, like, a typical person. So that is going to be extremely nice, just having that bigger. So that was a theory I saw brought up by a few people, was that them doing like this, like the circulating, too far. Well, like doing that was like, okay. And the model was like, hey, what if I have a heart attack right now? It's fine. Was like, we're showing you that you can move this around way more than you could before. Is this an indication that it's Hall effect sticks? I don't know. I don't think it is. But that was one of the leaks that was running around, is that these are going to be Hall effect. And I really, really hope that that is the case, because that would make the Joy-Cons far more valuable, especially among like the first party controllers. I think that also might set a mild precedent if both the Joy-Cons and the eventual Pro controller were Hall effect straight from Nintendo, or at least their factories, because that might push Microsoft and Sony to make their first party controllers also Hall effect, or at least their Pro model versions Hall effect. I don't see at least those two companies making their first party controllers like the out of the box Hall effect, but who knows? Oh, look, mice. Ironically, I want to go back. because no one pointed this out. Like, it does click in. It does click into these things, and it's very clear what it is intended to use for. So you see here, like this part right here where the sensor is also rubbing the ground. Both sides where the magnetic clamps are also rubbing the ground. Now, one of the leaks was stating that the Joy-Cons will have a mouse-like function. Very similar to typical, like your computer mouse, or the Lenovo Legion Go is another example. Obviously not like the Lenovo Legion Go as far as like the structure, but I think the usage anyway. And then I saw some people ask like, well, what could they use this for? Some notable things I've thought about: Civilization 7, Metroid Prime 4, and obviously there is the highly rumored, not announced Final Fantasy XIV for the Switch, or at least Switch 2. That could absolutely make use of a mouse form. Now, at least in the case of 14, you also would want a keyboard. But we'll see if Nintendo tries offering a more PC-like experience, maybe with like accessories, like a keyboard accessory, or maybe a controller with a keyboard attached to it, like the old Xbox 360 controllers. We'll see. But I think it's really neat. So a lot of people talk about the fact that these controllers, like, they showcase them sliding along the ground like a mouse would. But I don't think anyone's pointed out the fact that the handheld or the wrist straps are actually used in replacement of a mouse tail. I think Nintendo has actually taken the literal mouse approach, which is like trying to show that these are mice, quote unquote. So I'm interested to see what they do with that concept. I really hope it's true. In fact, I'm staking a claim that these are in fact true. Now I posted on, or at least I responded to Pirate Nation and Gator, one of someone I have talked to personally, along with Akko, is that these are gonna be a problem. If the joysticks on the Joy-Cons are indeed Hall effect sticks, then we won't need to worry as much about those. But admittedly, replacing Joy-Cons is far cheaper than replacing a whole system. And if these have issues, that's going to be a problem. So this is going to be one of those instances where I'm going to say, treat your system with care. Do not be chucking it around. Do not be slamming it down. Be gentle with it. Now, thinking about this as well, they do slot in, because they do have the big divot here, the big blocky bit of the Joy-Cons that go into this divot. And then this connector goes into the Joy-Con. I think that was done intentionally to make it easier to stay attached. So it's not going to be like you're going to jerk it and that's going to pop out and that's going to break it. It's intended to be magnetically connected on the top and bottom, with this in the center, to keep it as secure within the system as possible. Something else, I'm gonna go back here because I think that's gonna be one of our bigger, like, noticeable looks at it, is the C button here. They never talk about that. And obviously, will it be brought up? Eventually, yes. But during this, no. Because I believe that this C button that everyone talks about is important overall. Or it's going to be one of the big features. And there's our logo. Actually, rather good. I know some people are going to be like, well, this isn't the Nintendo I know. We had like the NES, the Super Nintendo, we had the Nintendo 64, the GameCube, the Wii U, the DS, 3DS, all these things. But I think clarifying that this is a Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be the most what's the right way to say it? It's going to be the best way to indicate that this is a successor system than using a different name entirely. The choice of using the name Nintendo Switch 2 is a way to back away from the naming scheme of like the Wii U. The Wii U was looked down upon because a lot of people thought it was just a upgraded Wii. Why would we need to buy an upgraded Wii when our Wii already works? You want to have that clarification that this is a successor system. So, we get what is very likely Mario Kart 9. Mario Kart 9 has been leaked for a few months now that it was going to be a launch title for the Switch 2. And it's not all that surprising that it's going to be a launch title. I think a lot of people expected that, which is a fair assumption. I know some people pointed out that Donkey Kong here is a completely different design. I'm not totally sold that's Donkey Kong. Obviously it's tied to Donkey Kong anyway, but I'm not sold that that is Donkey Kong. But we'll see. We do need a proper trailer for Mario Kart 9 to properly assess if that is Donkey Kong or if is it a new member of the Kong family or a redesigned of like Donkey Kong Jr. or like a different Kong, essentially. Realistically, it's Donkey Kong, but we'll see. They also do keep the dog style controller here. I think that actually kind of works fine, having used that for random sessions, especially when I first got my Switch many, many years ago. It is a nice, simple controller scheme. And it's very usable. Like, it doesn't feel bad to use. And I think this is going to feel even better to use because it will be bigger. And obviously this year, we were pretty much told it was coming out this year anyway. But now we have proper confirmation. It is coming this year. This is something I wanted to go over. Plays Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive games as well as Nintendo Switch games. We knew this. President Furukawa also mentioned this on a post on X that this was going to be the case. What we did not know when he said that was if it was going to play physical and digital. We pretty much figured physical, but they claim, they state here that but it's both physical and digital, which is phenomenal. Thank you so much for clarifying it is both. However, certain Nintendo Switch games may not be supported on or fully compatible with Nintendo Switch 2. I think this is a statement to cover their asses. Just in case a game doesn't work, it's like, well, we did tell you. Not all games would work. I think all first-party games will work. Out of the box, day one. I think where this is going to mostly have problems with is going to be Labo. I did see a couple of comments for Ring Fit and third-party games. I think that's where you're going to have the most of your trouble with this system. It's going to be the third-party games. But we'll see. And obviously they leave this on screen for a while, plus you can read it. And then we're getting a Nintendo Direct on April 2nd. That's a pretty long time away. I do wonder if we're still getting a Direct in February or not. I don't think we will. But we also do need acknowledgement that there are going to be more games coming. Now, admittedly, we have Donkey Kong Country HD, Donkey Kong Country Returns HD that came out today. And then we're getting Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition in March. So we don't really have anything for February as far as games are concerned. Which is fine. But I feel like we're going to probably get at least something. For all we know, maybe we're getting Prime 2. Shocker, Prime 2 in February. Let's go. No, I don't think so, but it could happen. But I think February is going to be pretty much a dull month. Now, they do go over it on the page, and I'm not going to discuss it here because we're already running 21 minutes long. But they will have tours starting in April and going all the way until June 1st. At least on their website, that's what they say. The last I saw is they had not specified a date on when their Asian regions are coming, at least their Chinese regions. That might be because China and stuff having weird problems. Otherwise, pretty much throughout all of April, we're going to be seeing hands-on events in LA, in New York, and in Texas, or at least Los Angeles, New York, and Dallas specifically throughout April. And that'll be our first time to have an actual hands-on feel of it. I'm not going to any of those because no. But hey, they're happening. Really, otherwise, like, there's nothing else to go over. I think this is going to go very well. I'm excited. I'm picking it up day one. I do want to keep coverage going. I'm going to talk about this more with Akko on Sunday with Nightwave Live. Otherwise, I think that might be just the most we're going to get. Yay, I think. We're in a wait and see moment. Otherwise, thank you for watching. I will see you all tomorrow, Friday, at the time of this recording, for my next live stream.